Nicole? Did you really get a divorce? I overheard some of this from Mom and Dad.
Now that I think about it, I never did tell you, did I, Tessa? Actually, just last month, Kyle and I got a divorce. There were a few reasons behind why it happened to us, but there was no working our way around them.
Dang! That's freaking hilarious, actually. I can't believe things happened just like I imagined they would with you getting divorced only a few months after marriage.
What?
People say that beautiful women only have 3 days before their man gets tired of their looks, right? And no matter how beautiful of a woman you are, Nicole, you can't just expect to keep a husband around with your looks. So no wonder things didn't last. Everyone should know by now that it's more about what's on the inside than what's on the outside when it comes to women.
Huh?
In other words, just because your face is nice, that doesn't mean that Kyle really felt that attached to you internally. Honestly, I'm not sure how a handsome and elite man like Kyle even got married to you in the first place. Well. That's what happens when you're nothing more than looks. And now that you have a divorce under your belt, you're screwed.
Hey, Tessa, your older sister just had a divorce and you're not even going to try to comfort her?
Who is wanting to comfort you? If anything, I'm happy that you got divorced. The more and more unhappy you are, the better I feel about myself.
What did you say?
Ever since you were a teen, you've always lived in the spotlight due to your good looks, right? And all of the people I had a crush on went to you because you looked so pretty. Because of you, I was always having to cry myself to sleep at night knowing I would never be able to get a man myself with you around. But now the tables have finally turned. The fact that I'm now doing a ton better than you at this game called life really does bring great tears of joy to my eyes.
Huh?
After all, I was able to get married before you, right? And right now, I'm pregnant with the child of a man that loves me. Right now, I'm living a life that is tens of times more joyful and exciting than yours.
What? You're pregnant now? Well, that's some really good news. Congrats. How many months are you along now?
5 months now, and that's why starting next week, I'll be coming back home to Mom and Dad's house.
What? You're coming home?
When I went and talked with Dad about it, he told me that you've hunkered down at their place ever since your divorce. The fact that your reason for being back home with Mom and Dad was so sad compared to mine made me laugh my butt off.
I never said that I was sad about what happened or about having to come home to Mom and Dad's house.
You trying so hard to look tough now only makes you look more depressing. I'm sorry. You just got divorced from Kyle and all and are really down in spirit. And, well, I just went and showed you how happy my life is, which is probably something you didn't want to see. I hope you don't take your anger and jealousy out on me when I come back home with my baby.
I would never take anything out on you.
I made the right choice focusing on becoming a better person on the inside instead of the outside like you. When it comes to marriage, it's all about what's on the inside and not about what's on the outside, right? I went and studied cooking at school and learned how to clean and do laundry, and I also studied how to behave like a woman. After studying all of those things, my skills grew as a woman, and I was able to get married early and start a wonderful life with my husband. Yet you, who only ever focused on your beauty and such, never made it past dating men and has to live with your failures for the rest of your life.
You're starting to become really energetic over there, Tessa. Are you really that happy about the fact that I had a divorce?
I'm not happy about the divorce itself. I'm happy that I've finally finished on top above you and am living the life you wish you could have. Now, starting next week, I'll be seeing you back at Mom and Dad's house. And when you see my large belly carrying my baby, you can break down and cry some more.
Hey, Nicole, you know about how today Tessa will be coming home, right? That's why I've made sure to put a lot of your things in the storage room down in the basement.
What?
While you've been out doing things, I took the chance to move a lot of your stuff, and starting today, your room is being used by Tessa, which means you'll be living in the basement from now on.
Hold on a second, Dad. Why do I have to go and live down there? Isn't her room still open and ready for her to live in?
I thought you noticed that I turned her room into my study, and I wasn't gonna make someone as important as a pregnant woman sleep on the couch. That's why I'm having her take your room from you. A shameful divorced woman like you can go live in the cold and dark basement now.
Excuse me?
Jesus Christ, you really have lost everything you once had. When you were younger, I could brag about you all day because you were my cute little girl. But after just 3 months of being married, you ended up getting divorced and had to come all the way back here. Because of you, your mom and I have become a laughingstock to the whole neighborhood.
Are you freaking kidding me? Who the hell is at fault for me having to come all the way back to your house?
Excuse me?
Both you and Mom started to say some terrible things to Kyle. The moment you both learned that he was making over $100,000 a year, you both started to talk about his money all the time and asking when he was going to give some of it to you both. Then, when he would try to refrain from talking about his income, you both started to tell him that he had to send you both $3,000 a month in order to pay for you guys to remodel the house. And after weeks of you both constantly badgering him for his money, he finally drew the line and said we needed to get a divorce.
Shut your mouth. We gave up our cute little girl so that he could have a wife, so we assumed he would be willing to give us some money in return for you.
Am I some kind of object to you then?
Yet instead, that bastard returned you back to us. We don't need some kind of divorced daughter in our family. You are worthless to us now. And after all that work getting your mom to give birth to such a beautiful girl like you, and after all the work I put in to make sure you had the best cosmetics to boost your beauty even further, now all you are to this family is a shameful burden that we don't want to be seen.
Huh?
All you're good for is your face, and had you used that face to get us a man with lots of money, we would have been pleased. Then he could have used his money to take care of your mom and I, as well as the house. And we were so close to it with that bastard, but he never once sent us the money we asked for and sent you back to us with a divorce.
So that's how you've always thought of me, huh, Dad? The fact that all you could think of me as was a way of making money makes both you and Mom frickin' jokes.
The only joke here is you, a beautiful lady with a divorce record, loses almost all her worth in this world. All you have is a good-looking face, while inside you're nothing but sadness. You got all of our hopes up for nothing. All you've done is bring great shame to this family. And that means that from now on, your mom and I will be putting all of our attention towards Tessa and not a drop of it into you.
What?
I get that unlike you, Tessa isn't all that pretty. I never had very high hopes for her before, but she did get married before you and now has a baby on the way. Which means that very soon here, your mom and I will have our first cute grandbaby coming from her. She's the best daughter ever. Her husband isn't making as much as I hoped for, but with a little push, I'm sure we can get him some promotions. Thank goodness your mom and I had 2 daughters, just in case something like this happened.
You are being such a dick right now that I'm actually starting to really hate you. How can someone like you even be my father? Honestly, thinking about it thoroughly, you and Mom, along with Tessa, should all be ashamed of yourselves.
How dare you say that when you're the one living in our house? Anywho, you're gonna be living down in the storage room in the basement from now on, and there you can think about the person you really are to this family.
Ahead and tossed all your things out of the house now. So could you get lost now as well? And don't ever come back to this house again. What? While you've been out of the house playing around, I went and had all your things tossed out of the house. Now go out there and collect all your things and get lost, you pain in the butt.
Why is this happening to me now?
I've been making sure to not get in your way while you're back home getting ready to have your baby. And I've remained quiet about the fact that I need to sleep down in the basement now. Just having a divorced woman like you in the house is more than enough to get in our way. Just having the aura of a single used-up woman in the basement pisses me off. You just being around us has left this house smelling like sadness and despair. Huh? Mom and Dad have been saying the same things as well, and they would like for a shameful daughter like you to get out of their house as soon as possible. They've also been calling you this household's parasite. Excuse me? Of course you divorced women are all terrible at being kind to others. I heard that Mom and Dad have even been looking for another man for you to marry, yet you continue to say no to every single one of them. And that's why all three of us have been sighing about you being nothing more than a pain in the butt. I never asked Mom or Dad to go out looking for another man for me, so of course I'm going to be telling every one of them no. And to make things even more creepy, most of the men they bring me are in their 60s. To them, all they care about is that the man has money and nothing else. Are you really in a position to choose what man you get next? Especially when you're only good for your face and have a history of divorce under your belt now. Huh? I think Mom and Dad have finally come around to understanding it. Just because their daughter looks good doesn't mean that she'll be able to bring them any fortune after getting married to a rich man, and that all you are is useless baggage. Just yesterday, they told me that the only daughter they need now is me, since I'm someone they can still feel proud of. What? In the past, Mom and Dad only ever cared about you because you had really good looks, and them spoiling you all the time like that really made me jealous of you. But finally, after so long, they both are finally looking at me. They've even started asking me if I'd like to move back in with them for good, with my husband, of course.
I see. So, really, right now I'm nothing more than said useless baggage. But forcing me out of the house out of left field like this?
I don't care whether this pisses you off or not. Women like you, who've already had a divorce and are single now, deserve to live alone. Get out of the house right now, you parasite.
Are you sure?
Well, don't mind if I do. Huh?
I'm really going to leave the house now then. I've been waiting for this day for a long time now. After having been treated like trash in that house ever since the divorce, I am so happy to finally have a chance to leave.
What is going on here? Why are you so happy? Do you have any idea what's going on right now? Are you screwed in the head or something? You shouldn't be that happy about being kicked out of this house.
I know exactly what's going on here. I'm being kicked out of Mom and Dad's house and can finally be free again. Now I can finally go back to my beloved Kyle and make things right with him.
What? After being kicked out by him, you're going to go back?
He didn't just get rid of me for no reason. We had a plan behind the divorce, and I was actually the one to divorce him. Actually, the correct way to look at it is I asked for the divorce.
Huh?
The reason I asked for the divorce is because of Mom and Dad. By having them around us all the time, I just knew things weren't going to end up well for Kyle. Both of them kept pestering him about how he needed to start sending them money because they allowed me to marry him. It was driving the both of us up the wall. So in the end, I asked him for a divorce so that he didn't have to deal with them any longer. I seriously could not stand all the crap Mom and Dad were saying. So we made a plan to divorce for a little while until I had gone and dealt with Mom and Dad for good.
So you really asked for a divorce and then went back to Mom and Dad's house?
And the timing for it was perfect, as Kyle was about to leave on an overseas business trip, which, by the way, has now turned into him living overseas for a while. I knew him leaving would be the perfect chance, and so we signed the divorce papers and then were able to get away from one another for a bit. I didn't want to let Mom and Dad get anywhere near him anymore, so I went home saying that he was the one who divorced me. I told them that he was tired of me being nothing but pretty and left me for another woman who actually had a personality. But that's not the real reason at all, right? Kyle was crying the day he had to sign the divorce papers, saying he would be lonely without me for the next few months.
What?
The other option we had was me completely cutting ties to both Mom and Dad and then leaving the country with him. But I still had some respect for both Mom and Dad since they raised me. I was hoping that after moving back home I could sit down with them and talk things over about why the divorce really had to happen. But neither of them would ever listen to me. They seemed to think that since I was the reason for the divorce, I was an embarrassment to them and used that reason to always pick on me. That was going on this whole time and only became worse the moment you came home with your baby. So for the past couple of weeks, I've already been preparing myself to leave this place and never come back.
Is that right?
I thought that before I left, I could at least stick around and see you having your cute little baby. And that's why I've kind of been holding off from leaving in the middle of the night. But the dreariness of living in the basement now and always having to listen to you talking crap about me has really changed my heart for good. Things have been really getting to the point now where I just couldn't stand any of you anymore. So thank you for kicking me out today.
So now you're going to go find Kyle and remarry him?
Yes, that's the plan. I just got off a video call with him a little bit ago while I was at the park. I was telling him that things were getting so bad here that I'd be coming out to see him soon. And you know what Kyle said? Hurry up and come be with me again.
I never thought that you and him were still talking. Well, it doesn't matter to me whether you've had plans of getting back together with your ex or not. Both Mom and Dad are done with you, and now I've become their one and only daughter, which means that from now on, they'll both be spoiling me.
And if you decide to really live with them for good, good luck to you.
It's not going to be as hard as you think. I was planning to come and live with them for a long time now, and when I'm here, they both can't help but spoil me and their soon-to-be-born grandbaby. And I also plan to help them by putting some money into their wallets, unlike their greedy first daughter.
So you and your husband will be giving them the $3,000 a month they asked Kyle and I for? That's a lot more money than I expected from you guys.
What?
Mom and Dad were trying to force Kyle to give them $3,000 a month, which means they will be asking that much from you guys now, right? They also told us that we needed to pay them to get the house remodeled. So you guys will be handling that now too, right? After all, you both are going to be living with Mom and Dad forever soon, right?
Wait a sec, what? You're lying about the $3,000 a month thing, right?
Good luck. I need to get home to grab all my things and then get ready to go and see my man again.
Hey, Nicole. I heard about this from Tessa. You've left the house and are getting back together with Kyle? If you've really decided to get remarried to that elite, then I'll forgive you. So you come back to this house right now.
Huh? You have Tessa and her husband there now, right? My room is also taken, so there's no place for me to sleep in that house now, right? And actually, I don't even want to go back there, so it's fine.
I'll kick both Tessa and her man out right now, so you need to come back here now.
What?
I never thought that Tessa and her husband could be such a useless couple. Even though I was being so generous by kicking you out and having them come live here, neither of them have any money.
They only just moved in and you're already wanting them out? You're supposed to be getting a cute little grandbaby soon as well, yet you want to kick them out and onto the streets?
I look forward to the baby, but I don't want to take care of it or the two useless lovers. Yet for some reason, Tessa keeps telling your mom and I that we have to be the ones to take care of her baby. And that's not all. She's asking us to pay for her baby.
What? She has?
I was really happy when she agreed to live here again with us and her husband. And she told me she'd give us some money every month as well to help out. So when I went and told her to give us the $3,000 we needed, she told me she couldn't pay it. She told me she was only thinking of giving us $100 a month.
I knew that you'd want to get that $3,000 from them as well. But to be honest with you, I don't think they were even planning on paying you that $100.
$100 for allowing them to live here is way too little. That's why I tried to make a deal by saying next time they just had to pay me $1,000. But when I said that, she told me it would be impossible for them. And after she told me the reason for why that is, I learned that her husband had lost his company job.
Seriously?
Right now he's working as some sort of a contractor of sorts, but this year he won't be making the same kind of money he made at that company before. And that meant each month they can only pay me $100 and nothing more. It turns out that after giving birth to her baby, Tessa wants to go to work as well. And that's why she's asked your mom and I to take care of the baby.
So not only is she willing to hand over $100 a month to live with you and Mom, but she's also asking you to take care of her baby when she's had it?
She's also asking that we give her money for the baby. She said that because she has to go through all that work to give us a cute grandbaby, we needed to reward her. She also handed your mom and I a list of things she wants us to buy for her baby before she gives birth.
Really?
I never thought that our Tessa was such a selfish and greedy child. Things have gone way off the rails now. I had to have a talk with your mom about her. And in the end, we decided that we had to get you to come back. If you're gonna get back together with Kyle again, then I don't care about you having a divorce before. Come back to your parents' house right now.
You all are quite some selfish idiots, aren't you? You already kicked me out of your house thinking about yourselves, yet are now asking for me back? Say that all you'd like, but it's not happening. I've run off with my man now, and we are no longer living in the U.S.
What did you say? You guys already left the country?
I don't ever want to go back to a crappy family like yours. So no matter how much you tell me to come back, I'm not.
Then at least send us some money. I won't ask for such a selfish amount as $3,000, all right? Just $1,000 will do. That should be nothing for your husband to have to pay us, right?
Huh? We're not going to give you guys a penny even. I can't believe you have the balls to be asking Kyle and I for money after all you've done to me.
What? I just lowered the amount by 2/3 and you're still not going to pay? We are your parents, Nicole. It is your duty as a child to do everything for your parents and be a good kid.
I don't have any parents, though. I cut ties to the both of them already and am a lonely child now.
What?
So you can forget about any money coming from me. I will not allow a penny of the money my husband worked so hard for to go into your greedy little pockets.
Hey, you're lying. Your mom and I raised you from a little tiny baby. What do you think you're doing, throwing both of your parents away after they birthed you as a beautiful woman?
You both were the ones to throw me out first, right? So cut the BS trying to act like you're the victims now.
What did you just say?
I had tried for months to get you and Mom to sit down and talk with me about resolving some of the issues we'd had. I wanted to tell you both that you couldn't use my husband as an ATM. But neither you or Mom would ever give me a second of your time and would just continue to talk to me like I was a disgrace. And now the results of those actions are this: your daughter cutting ties to you and running off forever.
I won't allow this. I won't allow my daughter to tell me that she's cutting ties to us.
Well, tough crap, because I just said it and I'll say it again and again. I have cut ties to you and Mom and will never be going back to that hell. As for your guys' contacts, I'm deleting them right now. And if we ever move back to the US, I'm not telling you anything. Because I don't ever want to see you guys again.
What?
The only daughter you and Mom have now is Tessa. Yet now you're trying to kick her out of your house. If you do that, you won't have any kids to be proud of anymore.
I don't want that. I need you guys around me so that I don't have to work anymore in my old age.
Well, you can't ask me for help anymore, so the only person you have left is her. I'm not even going to your funeral when you kick the can. That's how much I despise both Mom and you. What am I going to do, Nicole? I'm most likely going to be getting divorced here soon. What? What's going on with you now? I get that a lot had to happen before, but weren't you finally able to live at Mom and Dad's house with your husband and baby? And I've heard from others that you guys all living together has been going well. Up until now, things have somehow worked out, but ever since I had the baby, things went downhill. The family is falling apart now. Oh? Last week I finally had my baby, but since then my husband and everyone have been terrible to me. They take a look at my baby and call it a monkey and wonder why it's so ugly. Seriously?
And Dad keeps going on about how you were cute the moment you were born, and so this baby should be cute as well. Mom, Dad, and my husband all say they can't love my baby if it's this ugly, so neither of them will be helping us raise it now. All they keep saying are these terrible things about my baby, and I just can't stand it anymore.
That really does suck, doesn't it?
And this has led to my husband becoming really upset with me now. Because not only has his baby turned out to be ugly, but both Mom and Dad have started to drill into him about his job. They keep asking him when he's going to find a proper job again and stop working as a contractor. And then they go on about how he needs to find a job and start putting that money into the house, or else he'll become a parasite like you were. And after a few days of that, my husband got fed up and left the house.
Wow. I could see anyone leaving the house after having to hear all of that.
But I only just had our baby. Right now my husband is going to live somewhere else, and neither Mom or Dad are willing to help with their grandbaby. I can't take it anymore, Nicole. I haven't even been able to sleep ever since having this baby.
But you shouldn't be crying to me about all of that. I'm no longer a part of that family. So I don't really care about what happens to you there.
Why are you being so cold to me? Why is everyone being so mean to me now? All I did was move back home with Mom and Dad, hoping to have a fun and relaxing life here. I also thought that I was finally becoming Mom and Dad's most important daughter, and I thought that they'd both spoil me and my baby by taking care of them for me.
And if you end up having to get a divorce now, things will only suck worse. You'll finally become that divorced, single, useless woman that you were making fun of me for being.
I don't want to become divorced. I have to become happier than you no matter what. I have to avoid this divorce and make things right with Mom and Dad. I have to win against you or else I'll...
You really are an idiot for thinking that life is all about winning and losing. If you really only care about winning and nothing else, then how about you do that with your own strength instead of relying on putting down others in order to do so? I'm not sure if you'll ever be able to dig your way out of that hole now, though, but I don't really care. A few days after that conversation, Tessa was told by her husband that he wanted to get a divorce and that he'd be letting her keep full custody over their newborn baby. And after the divorce, the money that would come from her ex as child support went right to Tessa's parents to use instead of her and the baby. This soon led to Tessa blowing up in front of the both of them, and she began to throw things around the house in a fight against her mom and dad's selfishness. Tessa and her dad really got into it during that fight, and all their yelling about how terrible of parents they were, and about how terrible of a daughter she was, rang out through the neighborhood. Those words would leave an everlasting impression on the area, as all of the residents now refer to Tessa and her mom and dad as trashy and shameful. I sure do feel bad for the newborn that lives in that house with those 3 horrible people, but hopefully it makes it to an age where it can move out of there on its own and never have to be around any one of them again. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Excuse me, Paisley. Is it really true that you and Ian went on a trip to that super expensive resort? How dare you go there without his wife? You're a jerk. What? Belle? So this is what they call the mother-in-law always bullying their son's wife. Leaving me home all alone while you take your son out to have some fun? You're the worst mother-in-law ever, Paisley. Now, hold on just a moment. Please calm down. That was the present I received from Ian. I don't think he meant to leave you out of our trip like that. Huh? For Mother's Day or something? Last year, all he got me was a bouquet, which I was still very much happy about. But this year, he wanted to do something more for me. After all, this year I'm turning 60, and so he told me this was both my Mother's Day present and my birthday present combined into one. The worst! Forcing your son to pay for such an expensive present? Are you not embarrassed to be doing that to your own child at your age? What? I know that you didn't like the bouquet that he got you last year, and that's why you forced him to do this for you this year. Well, I'm in the same boat as you, only managing a bouquet from him last year as well. But I never forced Ian to have to pay for me to go to some expensive trip this year. Paisley, you really are the most greedy person I've ever known.
Wait a second, Belle. I did not force my son to give me any of that as a present, okay? He told me that he wanted to treat me to something nice this year, and that's why he spent the extra money on me.
Huh? And if you were a normal parent, you would have turned down such an expensive present. But instead you acted like an idiot, letting him do all of that for you.
Are you serious?
Ian is married to me now, and that means if he wants to pay for you to go on a trip like that, to such a fancy resort, he should be taking me along as well. Why didn't you bring anything up with him when you noticed I wasn't coming along with you guys? The fact that you only care about yourself having all the fun shows me you're a worthless mother-in-law.
A worthless mother-in-law? This was all my son's plan, and I had nothing to do with what he chose. And from what I've seen, I can tell that Ian already treats you with special care and attention, Belle. Just a little while ago, you had your birthday, right? And during that time, he took you out somewhere really fun, right?
Huh? He didn't take me anywhere at all for my birthday.
What? Is that right?
No matter how many times I asked him, he never took me anywhere like an expensive resort. Yet, when it comes to you, he's totally fine doing that. It's all because of you I didn't get to go anywhere. He had to focus on saving money for you, that he totally forgot to care about my birthday. I don't care that he's running his own company now. You do not get to take advantage of his money like that. All you are is a parasite, trying to latch onto his skin.
A parasite?
Just let go of him already and go off to die somewhere by yourself. He's married to me now, and no longer your item to use. That also means that all of his money is now mine. You're not allowed to put even a single finger on our money now.
Hey now, I have not been trying to get to any of his money. All I did was let my son take me out on a special treat.
Shut up! I will not let you use your son like a convenient little ATM anymore, you old hag.
Excuse me?
Normally, after your son got married to me, the right thing to do would be to make some distance between you and us. Yet, instead, you've just been hanging around Ian all the time, acting like you can stay close as a part of our family. And now you've gone and left me out and run off with him? Stop stealing Ian and his money from me.
Ian, thank you so much for taking me to that wonderful resort as my birthday and Mother's Day present. But from now on, you don't have to put that much time and effort into me. From now on, I'd like you to focus on your wife more and take her out to places she really wants to go.
What? Take Belle, you mean?
It seems that recently the two of you haven't been going out much. I am happy that you're willing to make time to be with me and all, but I'd like you to spend time with your wife first, please.
Does this mean that Belle came and talked to you about something involving me?
Just a little. She seems to be getting pretty upset with how you seem to care more about me than her. I know very well that you care for me and want to show how much you appreciate me, but you should be doing the same thing for her as well. Next time, please take her on vacation.
If I could, I would love to take her out somewhere for a little while. But Belle is always so selfish when it comes to those sorts of things. And that's led to me no longer wanting to take her out anywhere.
What? What do you mean she's acting so selfish?
When it comes to Belle, she's recently... Not recently, but since we got married, it has been a bit odd. Every time I've tried to plan something out with her for a vacation, she becomes a real pain in my butt. All she talks about now is how she's the wife of a CEO. And that if we're going to go somewhere, it has to be where CEOs go with their wife.
What?
If the hotel or resort I choose for us isn't worth over $1,000 per night, she doesn't want to go. And when it comes to flights, if we're not in first class, we can't go. And if it's a cruise, we have to be in the suite rooms with unlimited food and alcohol involved.
So she really wants to have the most fancy of vacations with you.
Before, she was just happy to get flowers for me. But now that we're married, she tells me that flowers are useless because it's a pain to place them in a vase before tossing them. If that's the way she's going to act towards my gifts to her, then I'm not buying her any more presents.
I feel for you. It's not about the price of the gift, but the feelings that have been put into it.
I'm also the one making all the money in the household, and I already give her $5,000 a month to pay for groceries and things she wants to buy. Yet she doesn't see it that way and will ask me for another $2,000 every month so that she can go to the outlets. However, she's still getting on me about giving her such expensive presents, and it's just getting really tiring for me, Mom.
So that's how far things have gone.
And now I'm having to hear that she's upset about the present I gave to you? I'm really sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to get you involved in our private drama. I'm going to have a talk with her later about this.
I would like for you to do that, please. Just be careful not to get things too heated up, okay? You guys have a wedding finally coming up at the end of this month, so you both should be in love with each other when that time comes.
Do you think that Bella's having some trouble dealing with the reality of being married now? And that's why she's wanting to spend so much money and do things her way?
I hope that once the wedding is out of the way, she'll be able to finally calm down a bit. Now, good luck when you talk with her.
Thank you very much for attending my wedding today.
And thank you for inviting me to such a beautiful and emotional wedding. I wish for your marriage with Ian to be filled with love and laughter.
Thank you. And that is our plan. And in order for us to have love and laughter in our marriage, we're going to be cutting ties with you.
What? What did you just say?
As long as you're still around, he won't be able to stay happy. To be frank, you're in his way. Hence, why from now on, you are no longer able to talk or be around us. I don't even want to think about you texting with him anymore either.
Excuse me? But I don't think that I'm getting in the way of anything. Why would you even say something like that about me?
I have always been a bit worried about this. Ian is always thinking and caring about you more than anyone else. It's at the level where he's too attached to you that it disgusts me. That's why I'm taking the both of us away from you. That's my only option now.
No way.
I understand why he's so attached to you in that way that would disgust me. And that's because his father died a while back in that very sad accident. But if I don't step in right now to end things between you two, he's going to be used as your ATM forever. So this is the only choice I have left in order to save him.
I have never thought of my son as an ATM. I understand that my son is always thinking about me and at times will spend lots of money on gifts for me, but I've never asked him to do any of that for me.
Stop lying to me. Especially when I've seen him taking you on all sorts of really nice trips. He never takes me anywhere anymore, okay? So why the hell is he doing that for you? Something has to be going on there. I know for a fact that you've been forcing him into taking you to all of those fancy places.
Come on, Belle.
And I'm guessing that next you will be trying to use me as your slave or something. Well, I don't want to be treated that way by anyone.
What?
A little while ago, you tried to force me into caring for your needs, right? You're thinking that since you've already had your son giving you all of his money, the next thing you need is his wife. I'm not going to allow you to do that with me.
I have never once thought about making you my slave. Belle, could you please take a moment to settle down?
Shut your mouth! You're already taking full advantage of your son now, living the life of a freaking parasite. I will not trust anything that comes out of an old hag's mouth like yours.
I very much understand that you do not like me, Belle, but calling me a parasite and then coming to me about how you're going to cut ties to me now, I can't believe things between you and I have really come to this.
And I know that the whole time you had been spoiled by both your husband and your son. but I will not be doing the same things they did. This is the end of your fancy life of abusing your son's money for yourself. I will not allow him to ever take you anywhere or give you anything as a present again.
Belle.
I am not letting you get away with that toxic behavior just because your son is a CEO. Your son is now mine to use, which means all of his money that he can use on all of those expensive trips are mine. It's freaking absurd watching a woman like you get her way with her son just because he's a CEO. And that means I'm never going to even bother with you anymore. You're a parasitic old hag.
You have no clue who my mom is then, do you?
What?
Calling another person's mom a parasite? You have no right being such a bitch to her.
What? Huh? Is that you, Ian?
I forgot something at the wedding venue, and so I came back to get it before running into my mom here. That's when she asked me what all of this was about. You telling her that you and I will be cutting ties to her and everything?
Open your eyes, Ian. I'm telling you outright right now that you are overly attached to your mother. You never even bother to take me out of the house anymore. Yet you're always going places with her. Can't you see that all she's doing is using you as an ATM? And you're not doing anything to fight back.
You're the one who needs to open their eyes, Bill. Do you have any clue who you're trying to cut ties to right now? My mom is the founder of the company I run. She holds over half the stock that the company has and still helps to make decisions for what happens with the company's future.
What? You're saying that Paisley is a shareholder for your company?
The reason I'm able to run such a stable and successful company is because of her. And back in the day, when this company first started, she was there to make sure everything went as smooth as possible. And then she let me take over the company, and that's how I got to this position. Yet you've been calling my mom a parasite this whole time.
Wait a second. What's going on here? What do you mean Paisley helped create that company with you? Huh? I thought that company was your father's creation, right? And you took it over after he passed away, right? All Paisley was a simple housewife to you guys, right?
The one who started this company from the ground up with my mom. In the past, my mom was the kind of person who enjoyed working as her hobby.
Are you kidding me?
And then after getting the company up and running, she finally married my dad. She was already pregnant with me at the time, and when she had to give birth to me, she let my dad take the company over. She told him that she wanted to focus on raising me, so she asked him to take the reins from her.
What?
But then my dad ended up passing away at the age of 50. By then, I was old enough to do my own thing as an adult, and instead of taking the company back, she let me have it. And she didn't want to be the CEO, so she made me that, and has just been sitting and helping from behind the scenes. The reason I have this company and am the CEO was all because of my mom.
No way!
And as the founder of this company, my mom has always held at least 40% of the stocks. And right now, she has close to 60% and is considered the company's biggest shareholder now. My mom could go on all those expensive vacations by herself if she really wanted to. There's no reason for her to be using me for my money when she has more than me to begin with. Yet now you're telling her we're cutting ties all because you think she's a parasite. You have no damn right to your husband's mother.
But I thought... I didn't know.
I get that I'm closely attached to my mom. But what's wrong with that, huh? What's wrong with me caring about the woman who raised me and gave me my purpose and wanting to pay her back for all of that? As a person, as the company's founder, I respect my mom. Every time I spend time with her, I'm learning something new. That's why I'm always wanting to spend time going out with her. Tell me what's so wrong about that. She has been worried about you and I being married. All while she still thinks about my work and gives me advice in order to do my job right. What is wrong with me respecting her and treating her when she's been so caring towards me? If you are so upset with me giving her all the attention, then why don't you start trying to be a decent woman?
Me?
The only thing that's ever come out of your mouth since we got married is how much of my money you want to spend. And whether I want to talk about work and such, you ignore me saying you have no clue. And when I try to surprise you with flowers, you toss them in the garbage and moan about them. What about the way you behave makes you think that I'd want to treat you as someone special?
But look, I am your wife, right? Yet you've always been treating your mom with a lot more care than your own wife.
And I just told you why that is. It's because my mom acts more like a wife than you do. And because of that, I don't need you to be my wife anymore. Would you please leave me now?
What? What are you saying, Ian? We only just had our wedding and all of that.
Before I really did like you. But the way you've changed after we got married is far from what I expected. All you seem to care about is the fact that you're the wife of a CEO now. And that's just so boring and shallow to me. I don't care that we just had a wedding. I want the divorce now.
You can't be serious, right?
I'm going home with my mom and I'll be staying with her now. The next time you and I talk will be when I have the divorce papers. And let me tell you this right now. Nothing is going to change my mind about this.
Please, Paisley, do something to get your son to stop thinking about getting this divorce. Do something to stop him right now.
My son has had enough of you, Belle, and won't change his mind anymore. And guess who he reminds me of when he says that?
No way.
I think you both getting a divorce will be a great thing. Then you won't have to take care of me in my old age, right? I was never going to ask you to do that since I have enough money to put me into a home, but you know.
That's not at all what I want now, though. We only just got married not too long ago and just had the wedding. We literally just had our wedding, and I had finally become the wife of a CEO.
Belle, I think you're mistaken. When you become the wife of a CEO, you don't get to just run around spending all of his money. You get a job of your own then, and that's supporting his work and making sure he's in shape so that he can care for his company. But since you were not able to do that for him, you cannot be the wife of a CEO.
I was going to support him from here on out, though. And from here on out, if you ever need my help, I'll be there to watch over you. I won't even call you a parasite anymore, okay? You and I can become a really close mother and daughter couple. So please, Paisley, do something about Ian.
Oh jeez. But the thing is, most normal parents would never get in between their child and their significant other during times like this. So I'm very sorry, but I'm not going to do anything. I can't.
What?
I am a very caring woman and would love to do something for you both. But you warned me before, right? Normal mothers will create some distance between themselves and you guys after you get married, right? So, I'm so sorry. You'll have to do something yourself now. I'm not going to open my mouth about your issues and will not be helping. Goodbye now.
Oh, wait. You're really going to just abandon me like this? If you do that to me, I'm going to tell everyone about it. Because of my mother-in-law always bullying me, we had to get a divorce.
What was that?
You think that's going to turn out well for a company founder? Surely, when that story starts to spread, the company's image will be ruined. The stock prices for that company will plummet, and there will be no more customers for your son. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows I was harassed by you when I married Ian.
Why would you start sending me texts like that, Belle?
That would ruin you, wouldn't it? If you don't want to have your life ended by me, you go and do something about your son right now. Mother-in-laws only exist to listen to what their son's wife has to say.
Threatening my mom over text, where she can use all the things you said as evidence later, is a really risky move.
What? Is that you again, Ian?
Did you really want things to be hell for you after the divorce?
No, I don't. I want to make up with you and end this divorce.
No. You just said you want to ruin my company's image as well as my mom's. Then go ahead. But that would not stop me from getting this divorce I've been wanting. And after the divorce, you'd be going to court to be sued by my mom and I for trying to defame us in our company.
What? You'd sue me?
Go ahead and lie about what's happened, because we have evidence right here. And if you want me to take things one step further, Let me pull the transaction history from all my credit cards you used before we even got married. I have the evidence I need to prove that you only married me for my money and nothing else. Once I get one of the company's lawyers to help me with this, I'll make sure you have to pay me in this divorce. You think you can fight a CEO like me? Then come and try your best move on me.
Calm down, Ian. I was just joking about all of that.
Well, it was a very lame joke that nobody, not even yourself, laughed. I'm tired of your crap. Now sign the damn papers. If you ever try to get my mom wrapped up in your BS again, I'm going to make sure you never have a future.
Right after that, the divorce between Belle and my son was completed. And after that, both of Belle's parents came to me to tell me how sorry they were for their mentally troubled daughter. And at that time, her parents made sure to bring Belle along. And she began to break down, watching both her parents at my feet, begging for forgiveness. I like to think that she finally realized just how much her idiotic and selfish actions hurt everyone. And she was crying that whole time until her parents finally left. After they got back to the house, Belle's father did not let her into the house with them, and told her she was no longer a part of the family, and she was an embarrassment that almost ruined everything. Now she is out looking for a job with all of her energy, while crashing over at one of her best friend's house. Sometimes she will still call or text my son, asking him to get back together with her because she learned her lesson. But he would only reply by telling her that of course she's learned her lesson, but that does not mean she's meant to be the wife of a CEO. But now he just ignores all her calls and texts, as she doesn't even seem to understand what the simple comment means.
Hey there, Hannah. I just wanted to tell you that I got your wedding invitation in the mail today. So, you're finally gonna have your wedding, huh? You've been waiting for a long time for this.
Yeah, well, when you know what started going around, the world kind of collapsed around us. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see what dress you'll wear. Are you and Scott going to coordinate outfits? Knowing my brother, I doubt he'd agree to that, though.
Actually, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today. Let me be frank, Hannah. You need to call off this wedding. What? You've got just two choices. Either cancel it or move it to a different date. The date that's listed on this invitation is just not going to work for me and Scott at all.
You want me to call off my wedding? But why? As for moving the date, that wedding venue is crazy popular these days. I considered myself lucky to be able to get my reservation in at all. There's no way we'll be able to reschedule. So, yeah, I don't know what you want me to do here.
You'll have to find some way to make it work, Hannah. That date is really, really unlucky. Something bad's gonna happen, I'm sure of it. You can trust me on that. I'm practically a professional fortune teller.
Since when have you been a fortune teller?
Since last year. I started watching some videos on the internet from a bunch of super professional fortune tellers. I basically know all the most common methods. I am really good at doing tarot card readings, if I may say so myself. And when I did a tarot card reading about your wedding, I almost fell out of my chair. The date you picked is literally the worst possible date that you could have. So consider this helpful advice from someone who cares a lot about you, Hannah. You have to change the date.
Could you be a bit more specific? Why do you think that date is so unlucky?
The cards told me that you're going to lose something very important on that date. Don't you get it? That obviously means that if you go forward with your wedding plans, it's going to be a total disaster.
Well, I really appreciate your concern, Mila. I really do. And I'll definitely take it into consideration, but I just can't change the wedding date. Don't worry, I'll put some 4-leaf clovers and rabbit's feet into the decorations. Would that help? So, can I count on you guys coming to the wedding then?
I don't believe you, Hannah. You're just going to completely blow off my warning like that? I'm 100% sure I read the cards right. You're going to lose something important that day.
I understand that, Mila. I totally believe that you're being serious. And again, I appreciate your concern. Tell you what, I'll let the wedding planners know what you told me and have them take every possible safety measure on that day. Would that make you happy? You're not really going to tell them, are you? You don't believe my fortune telling at all. But you have to believe me. I followed all the instructions in the video I watched on tarot readings. There is no possible way I'm mistaken about this. It's a sure thing. Oh, and apparently the fortune teller whose video I watched is the personal fortune teller for a bunch of celebrities and politicians. She's famous in the industry. Wow, well, that's really incredible. I'll bet she makes a bunch of money doing that, too. If you don't mind me asking, how did you come across these videos of hers? I searched for how to read tarot cards. Her video was the top result. I'm thinking about opening up my very own fortune-telling shop. How would you like to be my first customer? I can help you figure out the very best date possible to have your wedding on. And if you act now, I'll do it for the low, low price of just $1,000. $1,000? That's an awful lot of money, Mila. Oh, don't be silly. That's a bargain to get access to someone as skilled in the mystical arts as me. That price reflects a family and friends discount. Remember the old expression, if you're good at something, never do it for free. So, would you like to pay by credit card or cash? It's kind of a pain, but I would also be willing to accept a personal check. I can start my reading just as soon as you make your payment. Thanks for the offer, Mila, but I think I'll pass. That really is an awful lot of money, and with the wedding coming up, we really don't have much extra money these days. I'm sorry, maybe I can have you do a reading for me another time? Are you joking, Hannah? You're gonna turn down mystical knowledge of the future over a lousy $1,000? I can give you the best possible date for your wedding. That's worth way more than $1,000. You're out of your mind. But Mila, $1,000 is simply too much for a fortune telling. Nonsense. Both you and your fiancé work, right? And I have seen the car you drive. You're not hurting for money. You shouldn't have any problems scrounging together a measly $1,000. I mean, sure, I can put that much together, but I don't want to. I'm sorry, Mila, but there is no way I'm going to change the date for our wedding, and that's final. Again, I appreciate how concerned you are about my wedding, and I hope we can see you there. You're a real cheapskate, aren't you, Hannah? I'm offering to give you the perfect wedding date through the secret knowledge of the universe over here. I guess I was wrong about you. Maybe you are just some impoverished loser. Hey now! I thought that you'd have no trouble shelling out that much. I am so disappointed in you. Oh well, the secrets of the universe don't come cheap, and you, apparently, can't afford them. I apologize for thinking that you had an open heart, mind, and wallet. You can forget about me ever offering to do my expert fortune telling for you in the future, too. Trust me, come the day of your wedding, when you lose that important thing I warned you about, you're going to regret turning me down today. Mila, please, calm down for a second. I had no idea you'd get so upset about this. I wasn't trying to insult you. I just don't want to spend that much money on a non-essential purchase right now. You're too late, Hannah. I already know exactly what you are. I can't wait to see what that important thing is that you're going to lose. Maybe it's going to be your job or your parents. Maybe you're going to lose your precious little fiancé to another woman. Whatever it is, I hope it's really, really important to you. Then maybe you'll realize how stupid you were to refuse my generous offer.
Hey there, Hannah. Look, I'm really sorry to do this, but I'm not going to be able to come to your wedding after all. I just found out from my company the other day that they're going to be sending me to a branch office on the other side of the country that entire month.
Oh, really? Oh, that's too bad. But it's for your work, so I understand. Then I guess it's just going to be Mila that's coming to the wedding then, right?
No, she's not going either. Or rather, there's no way I'm going to let her go. The way she's acting right now, there's no telling what sort of havoc she would cause for you. I just can't take that risk. I'm not going to let my wife ruin my own little sister's wedding.
What do you mean?
It's a long story. In ordinary circumstances, I'd obviously love for her to go since I'm not going to be there either, but, well, it is what it is. Sorry, Hannah, but you can mark both of us as being absent that day.
Does this by any chance have to do with her fortune-telling thing?
Wait, how did you know she's doing fortune-telling?
The thing is, yesterday she texted me telling that I needed to cancel my wedding. She said that she did some kind of tarot card reading and that the date we currently have scheduled is a super unlucky day or some nonsense.
Good grief. Well, looks like I was too late to stop her from interfering with your wedding then. I'm really sorry about that, Hannah. I don't know what's gotten into her, but the last few weeks she's been obsessed with all sorts of bizarre fortune-telling videos. I've tried to talk some sense into her, but nothing I say gets through.
Apparently she watched some videos from a celebrity fortune teller. Know anything about that?
Not much, but you might have seen her in various tabloids and celebrity gossip magazines. Her name's Madame Cleo.
Wait, that's who she was talking about? Holy cow, she said she was famous, but she wasn't kidding. I bet her videos get tons of views. It's no surprise they were the top result.
Yeah, but it's not just videos. She's been going to her fortune-telling seminars, too. Apparently, you can learn the secrets of the universe for $3,000 a session. And she's already been to 5 sessions.
Whoa.
It would be one thing if this were just a hobby. I mean, I'm not all that opposed to her believing in fortune-telling. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of cute the way she helps me pick out what color tie is going to help me succeed at my sales presentations and all that stuff.
Wow, you're letting her do your outfit coordination? Color me surprised. You never let me help you pick out your outfits.
And if she were paying for this out of her own savings, I would be much more understanding, but $15,000? No way! That's way too much! I wish I knew how to get through to her about this. Plus, none of her predictions end up coming true. You'd be better off betting on the opposite of whatever she tells you.
Yikes. Sorry about that, Scott.
She's gonna have to do something about that accuracy if she wants to succeed in her big project. Did she tell you about this? Apparently she wants to set up her own fortune-telling shop, too. It sounds like she's even managed to snag a few customers lately, too.
Wow, really?
Maybe this is just because she got bored with being a housewife for so long. I told her she could look for work if she wanted, but she said she didn't want to do any poor people jobs, as she refers to them. So she's setting up a temporary fortune-telling space in our living room and having her customers come to the house for readings. She charges $3,000 per session for fortune-tellings that never even come true. Needless to say, I haven't seen the same customer come back to her for a second reading.
Doesn't seem like she'll be able to keep her business open for very long, huh?
She's turned to going on social media to advertise for her services using what I bet are the same tactics she tried to use on you yesterday. I even saw her physically dragging one of her customers into our house the other day. The reason I told you I didn't want her to go to your wedding was because I was afraid that she'd try to turn your wedding into her own personal marketing opportunity. So, well, that's about it. I don't want Mila to ruin your wedding, Hannah.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it would be for the best if she didn't come.
I'll give you your present from us after I get back in town, so you can go ahead and tell the venue people that you don't need to put out any seats for either of us. Give my regards to your fiancé for me. Okay, I gotta get back to work. I'll talk to you later, Hannah.
Mila, what are you doing here? Scott said you weren't going to come. I
wanted to see what sort of disaster the universe has prepared for you with my own 2 eyes. I've been wondering ever since that day what the important thing you're gonna lose is. In any case, you're definitely gonna regret not listening to me.
Okay, well, next question. Why are you wearing that elaborate black veil? This is a wedding, not an occult funeral.
I wouldn't be so sure of that if I were you, Hannah. Remember, you're gonna lose something very important today. I just wanted to be prepared for any occasion, that's all.
Are you kidding me?
I'll have you know that I had a fortune-telling done by Madame Cleo herself just yesterday. And do you want to know what she told me? She told me that I should be prepared for a time of mourning. So I thought this would be the perfect attire for your special day.
So you came to my wedding dressed like you're going to a funeral because of what a fortune teller told you? Look, if you really want to come, I can have a seat prepared for you, but you're gonna have to wear something more appropriate than that. Go and change.
No, I think I'm fine dressed the way I am.
Excuse me?
You're gonna lose something important today, and I need to be prepared to mourn, right? It's obvious that something's gonna happen to someone at your wedding today, and this way we can transition straight to the funeral without having to change clothes.
You're serious about this, aren't you?
I'm dead serious, Hannah. And besides, what are you so worried about? If you couldn't even afford to pay me $1,000 for a fortune telling, there's no way your wedding is going to be anything special. There's nothing for me to ruin in the first place. So let's just sit back, relax, and watch your wedding collapse, shall we?
I have never met anyone as selfish and heartless as you. I'm telling you to dress appropriately if you want to come to my wedding. Are you just going to ignore that and come dressed like you are anyway? If you do, I hope you're prepared for the consequences.
How many times do I have to tell you? I am dressed appropriately for today. Who cares about some poor loser's wedding anyway?
You're done for, Mila.
Huh?
I think you might have read those tarot cards backwards. You're the one who's going to lose something important, not me. Don't you know who's here at my wedding today? Take a look around, Mila.
What are you talking about? Is there someone I should be afraid of seeing me or something?
I'm talking about the man shooting daggers at you with his eyes right now. Your husband.
What?
What's going on here, Mila? I was very clear to you when I told you not to come. And just what were you thinking coming here dressed like that? Have you gone completely insane?
Scott, is that you? But what are you doing here? I thought you were on the other side of the country for work.
I arranged for a few days off this weekend. After all, I couldn't live with myself if I missed my own little sister's wedding. I'll be heading straight from here to the airport after the wedding is finished, though. But it's more than worth the cost of the plane tickets and the jet lag I'll be feeling tomorrow to be here and celebrate with my family.
Oh, I had no idea.
Now let's hear that explanation from you, Mila. Why did you come to Hannah's wedding when I explicitly told you not to come? Not only that, you came here dressed like something out of a medieval witch's funeral. And what's this I hear about you calling my sister a poor loser?
Let's just calm down for a second, okay, Scott? Everything is going to make perfect sense very soon. The universe told me that Hannah's wedding is going to end in disaster. It's great that you're here. You can watch it all go down with me.
Again with that fortune-telling nonsense? I can't deal with your nonsense right now. Go back to the house immediately. And once you get there, sign the divorce papers on the table.
Scott, no, you can't mean that.
I've had all I can take. Your obsession with fortune-telling has caused so much trouble. And not just to me, but to every single person around you.
Don't be ridiculous. I haven't caused trouble for anyone. All I'm doing is helping to guide people towards happiness. That's why I started doing fortune-telling in the first place.
And when you drained our savings account in order to attend all those stupid seminars, was that all to guide me toward happiness too? Don't think I haven't noticed how much you've been spending on this, Mila. I went to the bank and got a detailed list of all our transactions. I think you can imagine the surprise when I saw all the withdrawals you've been making. And they were all for the same amount, $3,000, exactly how much that seminar costs.
Wait, let me explain.
Sorry, Mila, but your fortune-telling isn't making me very happy at all. If anything, I've been getting less and less happy every day for quite some time now. I can't take it anymore, Mila. I want to get divorced.
No, please, you can't do this. I don't want to divorce you, Scott.
Maybe if you were a bit better at fortune-telling, you might have seen this coming and been able to avoid it. In any case, you need to get out of here, now. We'll talk about the details of our divorce later.
How could you do this to me? Now I'm gonna get divorced for sure. Scott's sitting at our kitchen table right now demanding I sign a stack of divorce papers right away.
Ah, so that's why he left the building just as soon as the reception was finished. Scott must be pretty dead set on divorcing you, Mila. How ironic. You ended up being the one losing something important yesterday instead of me.
I can't believe it. Why is this happening to me? You were the one who was supposed to lose something. How did I mess this up? I'm sure I did the tarot card reading correctly.
How can I put this as gently as possible? Maybe it's because fortune-telling is all just a bunch of superstitious nonsense.
Shut up, that's not true. Fortune-telling is real, and I am really good at it. I followed all of Madame Cleo's instructions to a T. I even watched the video while I was doing it. I even took private lessons from her in person. I paid good money for those lessons, too. There's no way I was mistaken. I did everything right. My fortune-telling should have worked.
Don't you think it's a bit weird that your fortune-telling and Madame Cleo's fortune-telling had the exact opposite results?
What do you mean? I don't get it. How were our results the exact opposite?
When you did your tarot card reading, you thought that my wedding day would be unlucky for me and that I would lose something very important. But when Madame Cleo told your fortune to you, she said that you should prepare for a time of mourning, right?
I don't need any advice from a novice like you. I know what I'm doing. Need I remind you that I received training directly from Madame Cleo herself? I know exactly what I'm doing, which is why I know for a fact that I did everything right. I am 100% positive that Madame Cleo would never lead me astray.
Well, if you'd like another reason, you could have asked her directly when you were at my wedding. After all, the real Madame Cleo was one of my guests today. Me and her were actually classmates in high school. We used to hang out all the time.
What? Madame Cleo was there?
You might not have recognized her without the makeup and costume she usually wears when she's on the job. She was dressed like a completely normal person today, which is rare for her. I guess it doesn't surprise me that you didn't recognize her when I think about it.
Hold on just 1 second, Hannah. You are really old friends with Madame Cleo? The Madame Cleo? And the real Madame Cleo was really at your wedding today? For real?
Yep, we actually first met when we were in middle school, but we never had any classes together until we were in high school. And there are a couple of things you should know about her, for the record. First off, she doesn't actually believe in any of that secrets of the universe stuff. She's more of what you might call a unique brand of therapist who uses information she already knows about a person to give them advice to lead them in the right direction. Second of all, and more importantly, she doesn't do seminars.
Wait, what do you mean she doesn't do seminars? I went to her seminars myself.
That wasn't her. Every once in a while, someone pops up in one town or another claiming to be her and offering a seminar for ridiculous prices. With the right makeup and costume, it really isn't too hard to trick someone into thinking you're the real thing. So those fake Madame Cleos typically end up fooling a lot of people.
No! You mean the person who I paid all that money to wasn't even the real thing? Oh no, this is just the worst. I spent all that money for nothing.
The person who told your fortune for you was the real thing, though, so there's that at least.
Well, at least that money wasn't a complete waste. But wait a minute. You said she doesn't actually believe in fortune telling? That doesn't make sense, though. She was right. She told me I should prepare for a time of mourning, and now I'm getting divorced.
Like I told you, she uses information she already knows to give advice. I talked to her the other day about how obsessed you were with fortune telling and everything. She said she was trying to scare you away from coming to the wedding. She thought that if she told you that going to the wedding would result in a bad outcome, that you'd stay away and maybe turn your life around.
I thought she was talking about you. Why didn't she just give me a more straightforward warning? If she'd just given it to me straight, I probably would have heeded her advice.
Well, she is running a business. People pay her good money for the experience of feeling like they've received some sort of mystical knowledge. If she broke character, it would ruin the whole experience, and she'd probably lose a lot of business she has.
Oh no, what am I going to do? Well, she might not actually be a fortune teller, but she still gives really good advice, right? I'll just have to ask her how to make up with Scott. Can you talk to her for me? You're her friend, right? If you ask her to meet with me for a regular counseling session, she'll probably do it. I'll pay the normal price for her readings. If she wants, I'll pay double. I really need her help.
About that, I actually have a message for you from Madame Cleo. She wanted me to tell you that you're never allowed in any of her businesses ever again. Also, she wanted me to remind you that the terms of her counseling session include NDAs. So if you tell anyone else about how she doesn't actually believe in fortune telling, then she'll sue you for all the business she loses because of it.
What? She's threatening to sue me?
I don't blame her after what she told me. For example, she told me that you've basically become a stalker and keep demanding that she hire you as an assistant. When she turned you down, you got furious and started claiming that you have a right to be her assistant after all the money you spent on her seminars. Which, of course, she has no idea about, seeing as how those weren't her seminars.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time.
And then the icing on top was how you went feral against her all over social media. Did you really hire a foreign bot network to like and retweet your negative posts about her? From the sound of things, you probably spent about as much on bots as you did on those fake seminars. And it was all a complete lie. Like, you claimed she stole your money, she's a fraud, she physically assaulted you, and a mess of other baseless accusations. You do realize that what you did fulfills the legal standard for liable, right? She's talking with her lawyer about that right now.
No, that's impossible. How does she know it was me? I never used my own account. I made about 10 different burner accounts. There's no way they could all be traced back to me.
Apparently there is a way because she had hard evidence that it was actually you. So, how many things have you lost so far today? You've lost your husband, your money, your reputation among your friends and family members. But I'd still say you shouldn't get too down and out about all of this. I'm sure you have what it takes to come out on the other end okay, Mila.
You do?
Of course, you've been studying hard to become a professional fortune teller, haven't you? All you need to do is focus all your spiritual energy onto channeling the mystic knowledge of the universe. And then, when you finally get your answer and know what you need to do, then do the exact opposite. And with that, I'm out. Bye-bye, Mila. Mila and my brother got divorced a short while later. The judge took Mila's financial irresponsibility into account when determining the division of assets, resulting in her receiving absolutely nothing, no alimony, no property. She ended up moving back in with her parents. I heard that recently she's trying to get her fortune-telling business back up and running using her parents' guest room as a studio. She still vastly overestimates her skills and still has her price set firmly at $3,000 per reading. Word spread about her, though, so she hasn't landed a single customer yet. She has succeeded, though, in infuriating her parents. So much so that they told her if she didn't knock off her fortune-telling nonsense, they would kick her out of the house. I guess the neighbors didn't think too fondly of the occult-looking signs she had posted in their front yard. I've got to give her points for determination, though, because she decided she'd rather live on her own than quit her fortune-telling. I hear that she's currently trying her hand at setting up a stall on the sidewalk downtown and advertising her services to people walking by. She's made quite a name for herself, as her customers have been kind enough to spread the word on social media that if you do the exact opposite of what she tells you, things will probably turn out well for you. It's actually kind of impressive. I don't know of anyone as talented as she is at getting things exactly wrong 100% of the time.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.